Alright, owls, here's our W book. It's called Worm's Wagon. One day, Worm went to the woods to gather walnuts. He brought his wagon with him. On his way home, Worm saw Woodpecker whistling in a weeping willow. Woodpecker asked Worm for a ride. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker in his wagon. Soon they came upon a weasel eating watermelon. Weasel asked Worm for a ride. And the bird up here says, "Wow, what a wagon." And the weasel says, "Wow, what a wagon." So they both say the same thing. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker and Weasel in his wagon. Before long, they bumped into Wombat, wearing her new wig. Wombat asked Worm for a ride. She says, "Wow, what a wagon." Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, and Wombat in his wagon. Next, they met Wolf on his way to work. Wolf asked Worm for a ride. And he says, "Wow, what a wagon." Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, and Wolf in his wagon. Soon they saw Walrus winking and waving. Walrus asked Worm for a ride. Worm wiggled along, pulling Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, Wolf, and Walrus in his wagon. Up ahead, they saw Whale playing in the water. Whale asked him for a ride. What do you think the walrus said and the whale said? You're right. Wow, what a wagon. Wow, what a wagon. Worm wiggled with all his might, trying to pull Woodpecker, Weasel, Wombat, Wolf, Walrus, and Whale in the wagon. But the wagon would not move. The wheels started to wobble. Wham! The weight was too much for the wagon. It crashed to the ground. "Oh no, my wagon!" Worm wailed. Oh, it broke. Doesn't look like anybody's hurt though. Oh, well actually, look who's under the whale. He might be getting smashed a little. "Don't worry, Worm," the animal said. Worm's friends worked on the wagon all afternoon. When the wagon was fixed, Worm wiggled into it. Then Wombat, Weasel, Wolf, Woodpecker, Walrus, and Whale pulled Worm all the way home. And Wary Worm had a wonderful ride. How many things can you find that begin with letter W? Let's see. How many can you guys find? Well, I see a woodpecker, a whale, a worm, a wagon, a wolf, a whistle, walnuts, and that's it. And here's our W cheer. W is for worm and wagon to pull. W is for wig, whale, wave, and wool. W is for watermelon, juicy and sweet. W is for walnuts, waffles, and wheat. Hooray for W, big and small, the wildest, wackiest letter of all. All right, that comes to an end of our W book. So next week, what letter comes after W? X. You are right. So next week we'll talk about X. All right, bye owls.